From architecture to painting and sculpture, literature to live music and theater, Radio 111 presents The Desert Scene, your connection to culture and entertainment in the desert cities. Here's Bonnie G.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. I'm your host, Bonnie G. I'm so happy to welcome to the show today Marnie Mitze, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, with the Palm Springs Friends of the Philharmonic. Hi, Marnie. How are you?
I'm terrific. How are you?
Good. Am I pronouncing your last name correctly? Is that Mitze? Is it Mitze?
You are indeed.
Oh, good. Because I hate to botch people's names. Okay, so
no problem. You had it exactly right.
So, Friends of the Philharmonic. So you got a lot of exciting things coming up this season. So tell us. You kick off Wednesday, November 2nd with the Israel Philharmonic. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Well, our season, as you said, opens on Wednesday of next week with Israel Philharmonic, and we are the first concert of a 9-city United States tour that the orchestra is doing this year with their new music conductor, Lahav Shani. Lahav, who is 36 years old, so quite young, and arguably one of the big rising talents in the international conducting world, came in after Zubin Mehta with the Israel Philharmonic, and Zubin was with him for almost 50 years. Mm-hmm. So Lahav will be with the orchestra, and we were doing an extraordinary program to include a work written in 1940 by the now Israeli composer Paul Ben Haim, mm-hmm. and it's based on his experience when he left Europe in the late 1930s as Nazism and Hitler were rising to power. He came to Jerusalem, and it's a symphony that talks about the desperation, the terror of what was going on, but also it's full of hopefulness, and it's really a very accessible and a beautiful, stunning work.
Excellent.
And then the second half is a wonderful work. I mean, extraordinary. Arguably one of the classics in the symphonic repertoire of Mahler's First Symphony, The Titan. Mm-hmm. And for all of the Mahler fans out there, this is probably one of the more melodic and I would say easier to listen to of many of the Mahler symphonies. Mm-hmm. And so we're really thrilled to have that program. And it was that piece of the Mahler was actually conducted by Lahav in 2013 when he made his conducting debut with the Israel Philharmonic. So it's sort of a signature work of his. So we're especially excited to hear him lead the orchestra at that. And about 125 musicians, yeah.
Wow, that's great. And then also, so you got a really amazing seasons to talk about. Sunday, January 8th, the San Diego Symphony.
Well, we typically don't do concerts in the fall. A majority of our subscribers and patrons are here just during the high season. But when Israel was coming to town, we, of course, that's such an extraordinary opportunity. But our winter season opens on January 8th with the San Diego Symphony. And they are bringing a young Venezuelan conductor, Domingo Hindoyan, who is out of the same school as Gustavo Dudamel. And I've heard fabulous things about him. And then performing with him will be the American violinist Anna Kiko Myers. Mm-hmm. And she is doing a new work by a Mexican composer, Arturo Marquez, that was premiered last summer at the Hollywood Bowl. And I actually heard it with the LA Phil performing a couple of weeks ago. And it is a fabulous piece. So much fun. You'll be dancing in the aisles.
Oh, that sounds fun. Okay. And then coming up in February, Pacific Symphony. Tell us about that.
Pacific Symphony. They're a regular on our schedule under Carl St. Clair. Just a wonderful world-class orchestra, delight to work with. And they are bringing the esteemed Israeli pianist Efim Brofman. And he is, he's just a master at his skill and his trade. I mean, he's just been doing this for decades, and he's just simply masterful. Mm-hmm. And he will be performing the Schumann Piano Concerto, which is another great work.
Okay.
And then following in February, we have a orchestra that actually I don't think has ever toured to the United States. Mm. They are out of the Czech Republic, the city of Brno, Brno. and it's the Philharmonic of Brno.
Okay.
And they are under the leadership of actually an American conductor, Dennis Russell Davies. Mm-hmm. And Brno was the home of the great the great composers Janacek and Dvorak. They're all out of that same sort of region.
Okay.
And so they will be performing, music of their country, so to speak, with a program of Janacek and Dvorak Symphony.
Okay.
So that will be very special. I think that's going to be, and their tour is being sponsored by the Czech Republic and the government of the Czech Republic. So we're very fortunate to have them.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. I love that name. In March. Tell us about that.
So Academy of St. Martin in the Fields is a smaller chamber ensemble with about 25 musicians as opposed to 100. Or maybe it's more like 30, I believe. Mm-hmm. But they are out of the United Kingdom. And there's actually a church, Academy of St. Martin in the Fields. And they are in residence there and perform there. But they tour internationally every year. And the esteemed American violinist Joshua Bell is their artistic director of Academy. Josh was with us last year when the Academy came. This year, they are bringing a mandolin player who is the only mandolin player out there who performs classical music, Avi Avital. Uh-huh. And so that will be a delightful and unique program. I've heard him before. It's just amazing what he does on his mandolin. He treats it almost like a violin.
Yeah.
He studied with violinists with this mandolin, which is, one of the more interesting and oldest of the musical instruments out there.
Right. That's great. And then in April, Los Angeles Philharmonic.
Yes. The French Philharmonic was founded in almost 50 years ago. And our first concert was at the Palm Springs High School with Zubin Mehta conducting the Los Angeles Philharmonic. And originally we were called the Friends of the Los Angeles Philharmonic. And these wonderful enterprising people many decades ago who wanted to bring cultural and resource to the Coachella Valley brought the LA Phil out here to the desert. And the program continued to develop over the decades to include orchestras other than the Los Angeles Philharmonic.
Right.
But we bring the LA Phil every year, and they are, in my mind, arguably one of the finest orchestras in the world. They're just really, really a top-notch orchestra. And they're coming with the young American violinist Randall Gooseby, and he'll be doing the Tchaikovsky Violin Concerto.
Wow.
And then they're under the baton of a young Finnish conductor, Dalia Stasetseva, who is a female. And there aren't that many female conductors out there.
I didn't think so, yeah.
We're excited to have her.
Yeah.
No, they're not. In fact, there was an interesting article in the New York Times recently about Natalie Stutzman, who was recently appointed director of the Atlanta Symphony. And she alone is the only woman leading a major U.S. orchestra at this time. So
do you think
it's an interesting...
It's a new, one of the last glass ceilings that women haven't really been able to crash through much? Or do you think that's just a little... Or what do you think the reason is?
I think it's like corporate America, like the symphonic world, like every place else, all of the above.
Slow to move.
It's about mentoring. It's about, I think, frankly, men mentoring women and bringing them up through the ranks.
Yeah.
It's just all of that. And the symphonic world was it was a little bit, he was one of the many institutions that, like a lot, that were a bit slow to change. But we're making enormous progress. There are a lot of young women coming up now through the ranks through mentoring programs that have recently been developed. So that, I think, will help enormously.
Yeah. So Palm Springs Friends of Philharmonic. So this, you must start planning for the next season. This takes a lot of planning to put this together, I would think, to book all these different people and get the dates straight and all that. It's a lot of work, I would imagine.
It's an interesting puzzle, to say the least. We plan right now. We're trying to put the finishing touches on our 2024 season.
Mm-hmm.
So we do, book out, in advance, earlier than many of the other art forms. Popular music, sometimes those are booked, like 3 months in advance.
Yeah.
But symphonies are large ensembles, and it's 125 people.
Right.
Their instruments to move, and it's a big machine to get moving and very expensive.
Yeah.
So that takes a lot of advanced planning.
Yeah, I would imagine.
We've also seen some impacts of our current geopolitical issues. Russia used to send out wonderful touring orchestras all over the world, and since the war, that is not
so
the
much.
case.
Yeah.
No, and the pandemic really had an impact, particularly on performing arts organizations, and so everyone's still recovering a bit from that.
Yeah.
So it's not quite the same marketplace as it used to be.
Yeah.
But there's still the talent is the amount of young talent that we have in our country today. It's just
amazing.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
It is mind-boggling. Yeah. Just such extraordinary talent.
So all concerts take place at the McCallum Theater in Palm Desert, and if people wanted tickets, they could either call 760-341-1013 or go to www.psphil.org. Is that the best place to get tickets, or should they go directly through the McCallum?
No, we are a separate nonprofit from the McCallum Theater.
Okay.
So we manage our own ticketing.
Okay.
So single tickets for the Israel Philharmonic are available now, and it's very easy to purchase them online at our website at psphil.org. You're also free to call. We answer the telephones, and we love talking to people. So that's and then the rest of our series is sold on a subscription-only basis.
Okay, gotcha.
So we're still selling those packages of tickets.
Well, Marnie, Mitze, thank you so much. What an exciting season you guys have coming up. P.S. Friends of the Philharmonic. It's one of the wonderful, there's so much culture here in the desert. It's great, so much music. I wish you the best of luck. Sounds like a wonderful season. And I hope you come back again and talk about next year's.
Terrific. Thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. Marnie, Mitze, P.S. Friends of the Philharmonic. And we will talk to all of you next time on The Desert Scene.